welcome. So in this video I'm going to show you how to interact with your Ubuntu desktop. This is Ubuntu 20.04 using glide typing hosted in a virtual machine that is an Android virtual machine. So here I've got a notepad with some stuff I already wrote, and here I am glide typing with it. It's not super fast, but I'm doing it with one hand and I haven't had to write any software to do this. And I can use this input to any application running on my computer. Obviously it works best for English language input, not programming, much to my dismay. All right, so let me walk you through the process of how you get to this point. So the first thing you need is some sort of device that you can use as a stylus for swipe typing. You could use a mouse and hold the button down. That doesn't really work that great, I think. So this is what I'm using. It's a XP Pen Star G640. It's possible some of their cheaper devices might also work. I feel like this was cheap when I bought it. I thought it was 25 bucks, but I bought it a couple of years ago. But anyway, maybe you can find one cheaper than this. So anyway, you need some sort of input device. This is actually like a mouse. It's like a pen mouse. So your computer will recognize it as a mouse, which is very convenient for the kind of interaction that we're going to do. The second thing is you need RDP. And the reason that you need, XRDP, the reason you need that is because this virtual machine is using remote desktop to connect to my desktop. So you need a remote desktop server running on your desktop machine, right? So you can install XRDP. It's actually pretty easy to install. The next thing you need is Virtualbox. I recommend installing Virtualbox directly from the Oracle website. I tried to install it from the Ubuntu repositories and it didn't work with Genie Motion. It was like the wrong version. So if you install it from Oracle, you'll get the correct version. The next thing you need is Genie Motion Desktop. Genie Motion is a platform for running Android virtual machines in Virtualbox. It's actually really amazing. I'd never heard of it before, but they've got really great documentation. You can get going in it really, really quickly once you have Virtualbox installed. All right, so let's talk about the process for that. So once you install Genie Motion, the next thing you need is to create a virtual machine, which you do with this plus button. What I did is I created a Sony Xperia Tablet Z machine, and then I customized it slightly. So it's very important that the Android version be 8. I changed the size slightly so that it fit on my desktop well. I actually wanted it to basically act as a window and be like window size instead of full screen. And I think that's pretty much it. So once you've got this, you just turn it on. And that's what we're looking at here, except this is actually running remote desktop. So this is what the Android virtual machine looks like when it's just hanging out and running, right? So once you've got this running in Genie Motion, the next thing you need to do is install the ARM translation tools. And you need these in order to install other apps, right? So first install the ARM translation tools, which you can get from here. This is a GitHub repo. And you can see here's version 8. And this is why it needs to be Android 8, because that's the most recent version that you seem to be able to get these things. Now, the good news is it's really simple to install that stuff, to install the ARM translation tools. So all you need to do is get the zip file from GitHub and drag it and drop it onto the Genie Motion screen, and it'll install it, which I think is really slick. Installed for me without a hitch. Then the next thing you need to do is install OpenGapps, which you can see I've already got installed here. And that'll give you the Google Play Store. It'll ask you for a Google account. I used a test account, not my main account, so it's got nothing linked to it. So I'm not really worried about any sort of issues with my account being compromised with whatever. So once you install OpenGapps, then you can install Gboard, which you need to get the keyboard, right? So that's how we're glide typing, is we're using Gboard. So you need to install that. And then you need to install the remote desktop client. And the reason you need to install the remote desktop client, again, if it isn't clear, is that without it, anything that you're doing in this Android virtual machine stays in this Android virtual machine. Like you can swipe type in it and stuff, but you can't swipe type as input into any of your documents or anything like that. So you need the remote desktop client so you can open a connection to your machine so that you can use Gboard as an input interface into all your normal applications, right? And that's what this is, so I've already got it set up to go. And so this is my normal desktop, right? There's no unicorn because this is actually running Xoffice just to make it a little bit faster. But these are all my normal applications that I can interact with and I can, swipe text into. All right, so to get that remote desktop, you actually need to go to an APK mirror. And the reason is that as far as OpenGapps is concerned in Genie Motion, your device can't run remote desktop. And I'm really not sure why. It just won't appear. It just won't appear in OpenGapps. So I'm downloading it from a mirror. It has to be remote desktop 8. So the latest version is 10. The latest version is a universal APK. It's supposed to support x86, but Genie Motion doesn't recognize it as that. So that's why we need the ARM translation tools, because as you can see, this is all ARM. And with those ARM translation tools, Genie Motion will install Remote Desktop 8. So come to a page like this, come over here, you download it, right? You get an APK file like this, and again, you just, drag and drop, doing this way out of order. You just drag and drop the APK to your screen, and Genie Motion will install it. And you're pretty, and you're pretty much done at that point. So it's pretty cool. And then all you have to do is, actually connect to your RDP server, right? So you just, and I guess the normal way in your remote desktop client, you just create a connection, which you do again with a plus, right? So you basically just need to know what your IP address is on your host machine, and put in your name and password, and that's it. You're done. So it actually works amazingly well. There's only two small things that are a little bit weird. Well, first of all, I do also have a normal mouse that I'm controlling with my left hand, just for things that are really high precision, because the XP Pen, it's great for glide typing, but like when you push down and pick up, like you would if you were dragging or dropping something, you tend to make your cursor, your mouse pointer, move a little bit. And so that little jitter that you get from that action, you don't get with a normal mouse. And so for things that are really high precision, it's useful to have a normal mouse just to be able to switch back and forth with that. The other thing is that double clicking has like a different rhythm. Yeah, and you have to get it like exactly right. Because if you do it like too fast or too slow, double clicking to open stuff just won't work. And it's just a slightly different speed than on my normal computer, and I'm not sure why it's a little bit weird like that. It could have something to do with the touch interface that that Remote Desktop thinks it's implementing right now. So I'm in the touch mode instead of the mouse pointer mode. So those are really, and then also if you're running the same applications like on your normal desktop, and you try to run them from here, it'll get confused, and that's just a normal like account kind of thing. So you can cause windows to open not in the virtual machine, but actually on your regular desktop. So the way to resolve that is just to have your programs open in one place or the other, right? So if I've got my email open here, don't open it over here, and then try to address an email to someone and have the window appear on the wrong place. So as long as you basically just keep it running in one place or the other, you're fine. You just have to kind of keep track of it, which is one of the reasons that I like having my applications appear down here, is because it makes it really easy for me to tell what I've already got running down here and what I don't. All right, I think that's it. Good luck.